Good morning, and thank you so much for watching this video. So this one is lesson 14.2, trend lines and predictions. And the standard is 8th grade statistics and probability number 3. And you got to be able to use the equation of a linear model to solve problems in the context of bivariate measurement data. And you got to be able to interpret the slope and the intercept. And what do they mean? Okay. So the essential question is, how can you use a trend line to make a prediction from a scatter plot? And this is explore activity number 1 that deals with statistics and probability, standard number 1 and number 2, and drawing a trend line. Okay, so you're going to be drawing a trend line. So when a scatter plot shows a linear association, you can use a line to model the relationship between the variables. A trend line is a straight line, underline it, a straight line that comes closest to the points on a scatter plot. So the problem says, Joyce, let me move it more up. Okay. So Joyce is running for a 10K race. For some of her training runs, she records the distance she ran and how many minutes she ran. Make a scatter plot of Joyce data. So we're going to put this data into this table. So it says 4 and 38, 4 and 38. This is going by 5, so 38 must be somewhere right there. And then 2 and 25, 2 and 25. Oh, you go 2 to the right and 25 up. 1 and 7, 1 to the right and 7 up. So somewhere right there. 2 and 16, 2 to the right and 16. So between right after the 15. 3 and 26, 3 to the right and 26. 25, 26 right there, and 5 and 55, 5 and 55, and then 2 and 20, 2 and 20 right there, and then 4 and 45, 4 and 45, this is 40, 45, and then 3 and 21, 3 and 21 right there. And so you notice that the lines, the data set is increasing, and then it does have a positive correlation, positive association. So to draw a trend line, use a straight edge to draw a line that has about the same number of points above and below it, and then ignore any outliers. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a trend line somewhere in here. So somewhere right there where we have the same number of points above as below. So I have 1, 2, 3 above, 1, 2, 3. It's maybe a little bit low. This might be a high, too high. It should be a little bit low, but that's what I drew, okay? It could be a little bit off. It's okay, okay? So then it says use the trend line to predict how long it would take Joyce to run 4.5 miles. So the way I predicted is that you go to 4.5 miles, and then you go straight up until it hits the line, and then you go straight across, and it would be about 45 minutes. So it would take, I'm going to write it better than last time. It would take Joyce 45 minutes to run 4.5 miles. And how well does your trend line fit the data? Ooh, let me see. 45. Well, look, for 4 minutes, it would take 45. It's it's okay, I guess. Um, my trend line is a little bit high. I'm going to put my trend line is a bit high because it has too many numbers on too many dots on the bottom, because it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points below and only 3 points above. So it should have the same above the line, okay? So it should have the same number of lines, okay? Do you think you can, so the next question says, do you think you can use a scatter plot that shows no association to make a prediction? No, if there is no association, if there is no association, you cannot make a prediction. Association, you cannot make a prediction. Okay, Now, finding the equation of a trend line. You can use 2 points on a trend line to write the equation of the equation in slope-intercept form from the trend line. And I'm just going to show you an easy way, okay? Very easy way. Um, on this one, right away, it says example 1, the scatter plot and trend line shows the relationship between the number of chapters and the total number of pages in the book. Write an equation of a trend line. I'm not going to show you this way. You're going to see it and you notice, oh, the equation goes through the 0, 0. Oh, so the equation, remember in 7th grade, it was y equals kx. So because it goes through the 0, 0, it's proportional, so it just goes through there. Now, and you look at the rate of change and you look at the unit rate. I look at the one right here and I say, okay, the one would be right there and it goes all the way to this line and then it goes across. It's approximately what? 10. So that means that the unit rate is 10. Y equals 10x. That's it. We're done. Okay? That's the easy way instead of doing all this stuff. Okay, see, I'm being nice. Now, what type of association does the scatter plot shows? Oh, it's increasing, so it's positive association, positive association. Some people will say correlation, correlation, okay? And what is the meaning of the slope in this situation? Oh, okay, the slope meant 10. Ooh, see the 10 right here, 10, and it's 10 pages, and then the one was chapters. So 10 equals 10 pages per chapter. And what is the meaning of the y-intercept? The y-intercept was 0. If there were no 0, 0, the y-intercept was 0, 0. So 0, 0 chapters, 0 pages. And it makes sense, right? 0 pages, 0 chapters. So let me see. Let me show you again. So the scatter plot and trend line shows the relationship between the number of rainy days in a month and the number of umbrellas sold each month. Write an equation for the trend line. Okay. So again, oh, it goes to the 0, 0. So it's going to be y equals kx. Now I see my unit rate. This is 1 right here. So I go straight up to the line and then I go across. The number must be 1 because between 0 and 2 is 1. Oh, so the equation is y equals 1x. And usually, you know, mathematicians, we're lazy. We don't want to waste our ink to write 1. So we just write y equals x. Okay. So the equation of the trend line is y equals x. Okay. Now it says make a prediction. Okay. So it says, when you use a trend line or its equation to predict a data value between data points that you already know, you interpolate. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, so as we were talking, interpolation, inside, means between the dots, okay? And then extrapolation means outside of the dots. So this would be inside and outside would be like somewhere over here, okay? So it says use the equation of a trend line in example 1 to predict how many pages would be in a book with 26 chapters. So the equation that we wrote over here, for which one was it? For the data over here on example 1 was y equals 10x. And then it says, oh, okay, in a book with 26 chapters. Well, the graph only went up to 18 chapters. So that means that it's the 26 is outside. So it's extrapolation. And so then that would be extrapolation. And then it would be you substitute the x for 26 and 26 times 10 is 260. So I predict that a book with 26, I predict that the book with 26 chapters would have approximately 260 pages. Okay, thank you so much. And now you do, oh no, there's one more question over here. So make a prediction. Predict how many pages would be in a book with 14 chapters. 14 chapters, so I start off with y equals 10x and x is 14. So then 10 times 14 is 140 pages. And then this would be interpolation because notice 14 would be right here. And if I use my trend line, it would be right there. So it'd be 140. Oops, I'm not showing you. Okay, so the 14 chapters would be right there. And it would be right there. And so it'd be 140 pages. Okay, so that's how we would see it. So So this would be, once again, interpolation. Okay. Do you think the extrapolation or interpolation is more accurate? Accurate, explain. Well, I think that um, interpolation would be more accurate because that is within the data set. Because that is within the data set. There are actual points. And the other one, there's extrapolation. There's no data sets because it's beyond it. Okay. So now you do the guided practice and the independent practice. Thank you so much for watching it.